August 9th, 2024, the Stade de France, just outside Paris, the greatest athletics stadium on the planet, packed with 80,000 people hosting the biggest track and field event in the world. The United States men's 4x400 meter relay team steps onto the track for the qualifying heat, and running the opening leg, the most exposed position on the relay, the leg where every split time is visible to the entire world, is a 16-year-old from Bowie, Maryland, who does not yet have a driver's license. Quincy Wilson runs 47.27 seconds. The team finishes third in the heat, barely scraping through to the final, and the internet does what the internet always does. It identifies the weakest split, finds the name attached to it, and delivers its verdict in real time. The criticism is immediate, widespread, and completely disconnected from the reality of what it was actually watching. 2 days later, Team USA wins the 4x400 meter relay final in 2:54.43 seconds, a new Olympic record. The teenager who ran 47.27 in the heat, the one the internet spent 48 hours ridiculing, has an Olympic gold medal.
All the pressure is off me now, and I'm super excited for my 2025-2026 season. I can't wait.
He is 16 years old. His classmates are preparing for their junior year of high school, and the sport has not given him anywhere near the conversation he deserves. Before you can understand what Quincy Wilson is becoming, you need to understand what he was built from, because the foundation of this story is as remarkable as anything that has happened on the track. He was born on January 8, 2008, in Chesapeake, Virginia, into a family where athletic excellence was not an aspiration, it was the baseline. His mother Monique was a decorated multi-sport athlete at Severn School, a soccer and basketball star who became the first female basketball player in the school's history to score 1,000 career points, earning all county and all metro honors in both sports before playing college soccer at Barton College in North Carolina. His father Roy is not a casual sports fan either. Roy Wilson played 4 years of football at the United States Naval Academy before going on to serve as a Navy submarine officer. His sister Cadence is also a competitive sprinter. This is not a household where athleticism was discovered by accident. It was inherited, cultivated, and then taken to a level the family itself could not have predicted. When Quincy began showing what he could do on a track, the family made a decision that says everything about the seriousness with which they approached his development. They relocated from Chesapeake to Potomac, Maryland, specifically so he could attend Bullis School and access a coaching environment that matched his ability. He started competing in track at age 8. At age 14, he broke Obia Moore's under 14 national record in the 400 meters. The trajectory was established before most athletes have run their first serious race. June 21st, 2024, Hayward Field, Eugene, Oregon, the United States Olympic Trials. Quincy Wilson is 16 years old, still in 10th grade at Bullis School in Potomac, still 19 days removed from finishing his sophomore year. He lines up in the preliminaries of the men's 400 meters against a professional field that includes some of the most accomplished quarter-milers in American history, and he runs 44.66 seconds. A new world under-18 record, breaking a mark that had stood for 42 years. The emotion in his voice after the race is not the controlled composure of an experienced professional processing a performance. It is a teenager who has just understood what he has done. "I've never been this happy a day in my life when it comes to track," he tells reporters. "I've been working for this moment. That record I broke, that's 42 years of nobody being able to break that record. I broke it twice in 2 days." 2 days later, in the semifinals, he runs 44.59 and breaks his own record again. He finishes 6th in the final in 44.94, a time that would have individually qualified him for the Olympic Games in multiple previous cycles. The top 3 finishers take the individual spots. Wilson misses by fractions. He is added to the men's 4x400 meter relay pool instead, and in doing so becomes the youngest American male track and field athlete in Olympic history, surpassing Arthur Newton, who competed at age 17 at the 1900 Paris Games. Snoop Dogg, covering the trials for NBC, wants to meet him immediately after the race. NFL legend Ray Lewis sends him a message the following morning. The 16-year-old goes home and plays Call of Duty with his friends. The Paris relay heat on August 9th deserves an honest examination, because the narrative that emerged from it was both factually incomplete and fundamentally unfair. Wilson runs the opening leg in 47.27 seconds, nearly 3 seconds slower than his personal best, and the team finishes third in the heat, needing a heroic final leg from Christopher Bailey simply to qualify for the final. The criticism arrives fast, and it is everywhere. What the coverage almost universally fails to mention is that Wilson did not elaborate publicly on why he was not at full capacity. He said simply that he was with a great team and they had him on his side throughout. Veteran relay runner Vernon Norwood, who ran the second leg and had to immediately begin clawing back the deficit Wilson left, told reporters he was watching a 16-year-old run in the Olympics and told Wilson before they went out to soak in the moment. Norwood understood something the critics did not. that the standard being applied to a 16-year-old's Olympic relay leg on a day when he was clearly not physically right against the fastest relay field on Earth was the same standard applied to seasoned professionals in their prime. The heat split was not a failure. It was a 16-year-old competing at the highest level of the sport while managing something he chose not to disclose, in an environment that no amount of talent fully prepares you for the first time you stand inside it. Team USA wins the 4x400 meter relay final on August 10, 2024. The time is 2:54.43, a new Olympic record. Quincy Hall, Michael Norman, Christopher Bailey, and Vernon Norwood cross the line and the celebration begins. And somewhere in the crowd, or watching from a screen, is a 16-year-old from Bowie, Maryland, who ran the qualifying heat that got them there. Under the rules governing Olympic relay competitions, athletes who compete in preliminary rounds receive the same medal as the athletes who run the final. Quincy Wilson has an Olympic gold medal. He earned it at 16 years old as a high school junior in the most prestigious athletic competition on the planet. That fact has not generated anywhere near the cultural moment it deserves. And the reason it hasn't is precisely the same reason the internet spent 48 hours focused on his heat split. The sports media covered the moment he struggled and moved on before it had time to fully process the moment he won. The gold medal is real. The record book confirms it. And Wilson wears the OLY designation beside his name on every official World Athletics profile because of what happened in Paris. If Paris was the moment the world first noticed Quincy Wilson, July 2025 was the moment the 400-meter community started taking the long view seriously. At the Ed Murphy Classic in Memphis, Tennessee on July 12, 2025, Wilson runs 44.10 seconds, a new personal best, a new under-18 world record for the fourth time, and a time that moves him to second on the all-time under-20 list in the history of the event. The only under-20 athlete in history who has run faster is Steve Lewis, who won the individual 400-meter gold medal at the 1988 Seoul Olympics in 43.87 seconds at age 19. Wilson's gap to that mark is 0.23 seconds. He is 17 years old. "I went out there and shot out like a bullet," he says after the race. The composure is different now from the teenager who broke the 42-year record in Eugene a year earlier. This is an athlete who has run in the Olympics, processed what it demanded, and come back with a cleaner, more controlled version of himself on the track. In 2026, he commits to the University of Maryland's track and field program, a decision that keeps him in a structured environment while continuing his development. His 2026 indoor season produces a short track 400-meter personal best of 45.37 and a 500-meter under-20 American best of 1.00.22. The development curve has not flattened. It is still pointing upward. The comparison the athletics world is not making loudly enough is the one between Quincy Wilson and Steve Lewis. Because if you lay the two timelines side by side, what you find is not inspiration or loose analogy, but a genuinely alarming statistical parallel. Lewis won the individual 400-meter gold medal in Seoul at age 19. He ran 43.87 to do it, the fastest under-20 400-meter time in history, a mark that has stood for 38 years. Wilson sits 0.23 seconds behind that mark at age 17, with 2 full years of development still ahead of him before he reaches the age at which Lewis set it. The 2028 Los Angeles Olympics lands when Wilson is 20 years old, 1 year past the age at which Lewis became Olympic champion, statistically the prime development window for a 400-meter specialist. That is not a coincidence of scheduling. That is a collision course between a generational talent and the biggest stage in the sport, arriving at exactly the moment his body and competitive experience should be peaking simultaneously. Lewis's mark is the mountain. Wilson is climbing it faster than anyone in the 38 years since it was set. Whether he reaches the summit before Los Angeles is the most compelling question in American middle distance sprinting right now, and almost nobody is asking it at the volume it deserves. Here's the verdict on Quincy Wilson, stated plainly and without embellishment. He is 17 years old. He has an Olympic gold medal. He has broken a 42-year-old world record 4 times. His personal best of 44.10 seconds is the second fastest under-20 400-meter performance in the history of the event, behind only a mark that has stood since 1988. The LA 28 Olympics lands when he is 20 years old, and the coverage cycle that defined his public image spent its energy on a relay heat, split from a 16-year-old who was not physically right on the day, running a position that exposes every tenth of a second to global scrutiny on the biggest stage in sport in his first Olympic appearance. The gold medal that came 2 days later generated a fraction of the same attention. That imbalance is not unique to Quincy Wilson. It is how the sports media has always processed young athletes, amplifying the stumble and summarizing the triumph. But in this case, the stumble was a difficult day at the Olympics, and the triumph was an Olympic gold medal at 16. Both things happened. Only one of them defined the narrative. And if the sport keeps its attention on the wrong one, it is going to miss the moment this athlete becomes what the record book already suggests he is building toward.